how do you choose when you have all this incoming information? I mean, obviously the history is a wonderful resource, but picking the most important thing to write every day, there's so many choices.
You see, that's unusual for you to say. Most people say, gee, how do you come up with things to write about? That's the most commonly asked questions of a columnist. And it's the question when I began as a columnist, asked my friend Bill Buckley.
Yeah.
I said, how do you come up with things to write about? He said, the world irritates me 3 times a week. Well, I'd say the world irritates me, amuses me, piques my curiosity. The world is just littered with things to write about. It was said of Napoleon that he could not look at a landscape without seeing a battlefield.
Huh.
If you're a columnist, you ought to be able to, you can't look at the world without seeing column topics.
Yeah.
They just come at you.
Huh. What do you think is the difference between writing about politics and speaking about it? Because people recognize you obviously all the time, but they are completely different things, even though they're so closely related.
Well, writing is demanding. And writing columns is particularly so because they're short. I adhere fairly strictly to 750 word limit, which means you have to be concise and you have to be elliptical and you have to intimate certain things. You have to assume certain things. Most Americans don't read newspapers. A majority of the minority who do read newspapers don't read columns. That's a good thing if you're a columnist. And here's why. It means you've got a self-selected audience that is definitionally intellectually upscale. They're people who come to the utterly optional business of reading a column because they're interested. And they're interested because they've got a stock of knowledge. And it's a great audience. You don't have to talk down to them. You shouldn't talk down to them because they came to you knowing what they were going to get.